Alright, welcome back. Now we're going to be going into the Chaos Demons, the their index. We got the Chaos Demons army roll, which is the Shadow of Chaos. If your army faction is Legions Demonica, certain areas of the battlefield are considered to be within your army's Shadow of Chaos as follows. Your deployment zone is always within your army's Shadow of Chaos. Uh, at the start of any phase, if you control at least half the objective markers within the No Man's Land, until the end of that phase, that no man's land is within your shadows of the chaos. So it's not more than half; it's at least half, which is in that one mission where you start have like three in the middle and you start moving objectives and you end up with two. That means you only have to control one for all of no man's land to be within your shadow of chaos. So that's really nice, especially in that mission. And then at the start of any phase, you control at least half the objective markers within your opponent's deployment zone. Until the end of the phase, your opponent's deployment zone is within your army's Shadow of Chaos. Most of the time, there's only one in the deployment zone, so you'll have to take the one in your opponent's deployment zone to pop this. But if you pull that off, it's there. Uh, and we'll see what this does. While a Legion Demonic unit from your army is within your army's Shadow of Chaos, each time that unit takes a Battle Shock test, add one to that test, and if that unit test is passed, one model in that unit regains up to D3 lost wounds. If that unit is battle line unit, that test is passed. Up to D3 destroyed models can be returned to that unit instead. Alright, so possibly healing big stuff or bringing back little stuff. That's nice. Then while an enemy unit is within your army's Shadow of Chaos, each time that unit takes a Battle Shock test, subtract one from the test, and if the test is failed, the enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Alright, so more Battle Shock shenanigans right here. So you definitely want to get the your chaos up, your shadow of chaos up if possible. Then we have the demonic pact. If every model from your army has, this is what lets you ally in. So strike force, which competitive most free playing, you can put 500 points of chaos demons into other armies, and then you have restrictions. World leaders can only take Khorne, Thousand Suns Siege, Death Guard Nurgle, and Lucius the Eternal Slanesh. It's interesting here that they don't. Oh, I guess that's because Emperor's Children don't have their own book. As looks like they're going to just be in the regular Chaos book. So if you take Lucius the Eternal, that triggers this. Alright, because there's no actual. Alright, that makes sense. Alright, I understand that now. Then their detachment rule is Warp Risks. Each time a Legion's Demonica unit from your army is set up on the battlefield using the Deep Strike ability, if it's set up wholly within your army's Shadow of Chaos, it can be set up anywhere that is more than 6 inches horizontally away from all enemy models instead of more than 9. Alright, so if your Shadow of Chaos is up, you can just drop stuff closer. I don't see anything where it says how many points. Doesn't. I'm not seeing anything giving Chaos the ability to put more into reserves than anybody else, which a lot of times they've been able to do. So they might still be restricted by having 50% on the table. And then we got their strats. We got Corrupt Real Space, which is at the start of any command phase. One Legion demonic unit from your army that is within range of an objective marker you control. The objective marker is said to be corrupted. It remains under your control even if you have no models within range of it until your opponent controls it at the start of or end of any turn. In addition, while objective marker is corrupted or under your control, the area battlefield within 6 inches of that objective marker is Shadow of Chaos. Alright, so basically it gives you can basically sticky an objective with one of your units in your command phase, and then it gives off 6-inch aura of Shadow of Chaos, which is really nice. So you do this in the command phase, move one of your units away from it, and then use Deep Strike another unit really close to it. Possibly right on it, depending on where your enemies or other units are. Alright, that's solid. Then we got Warp Surge, your charge phase. One Legion Demonic unit from your army that's within your Shadows of Chaos. To the end of the phase, your unit is eligible to declare a charge even at advance this turn. So advanced charge is nice, but it has to be within your Shadow of Chaos, so you're really going to want to push this to the middle of the to no man's land. You really want to really make this effective because advanced charge in your deployment zone isn't really as good because once you advance out of your deployment zone, you're not there. because you can only pop this in the charge phase. Alright, so depending on how, we'll see how easily it is to get that shadow out everywhere. Because if you have it up, this is nice. Otherwise, we may be thinking, man, I wish I could have got my shadow up. Alright, then we got Draught of Terror. Your shooting phase or fight phase. One leads your demonic unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight this phase. Until the end of the phase, improve the armor penetration character or weapons equipped by models in that unit by 1. In addition, until the end of the phase, each time such a weapon targets a unit that is battle shocked, you can reroll the wound. Alright, so basically you give one of your demon units plus 1 AP, and if they're attacking a battle shocked unit, you get to reroll the wounds. Alright, nothing too bad there. That's solid. Warp Surge. We did that. Denizens of the Warp. One Legion unit from your army that is arriving using the Deep Strike ability this turn. You can set up anywhere on the battlefield more than 3 inches away, and then it can't charge. Alright, so basically, yeah, let's do Deep Strike within 3 and not be able to charge. I'm sure that'll be useful for like flamers or stuff like that that has shooting attacks. Then we got the Realm of Chaos. End of your opponent's turn. Up to 2 Legion demonic units from your army that are within your army's Shadow of Chaos, or one other arm. Or so if you can take 2 units in your Shadow of Chaos, or 1 unit that's not. Remove the target units from the battlefield, place them in the strategic reserve. They'll arrive back on the battlefield in the reinforcement stack of your next movement phase using the Deep Strike ability. You cannot target units that are within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units with this stratagem. Alright, so basically just pick up some units at the end of your opponent's turn and bring them back in your reinforcements. Cool. Just traveling through the warp or something, I guess. And then we have Demonic Invulnerability. Your opponent's shooting phase. 1 unit from your army that was selected phase. Each time it's made from a unit, reroll a saving throw of 1. So reroll 1s on saving throws. That's okay, depending on your saving. If you got like a 5 or something, this isn't that big a bonus. But if you got like a 3 or 4, I mean, that, really, that might be more useful. And then we got their enhancements. We got Argath, the King of Blades. This is for Khorne demons only. Add 1 to the attacks and strength characteristics of bearers' melee weapons. While they're under Shadow of Chaos, add 2 to each. Alright, then the Everstave, Zinch. Add 1 to the strength characteristics of bearers' ranged weapons and increase the range characteristics of such weapons by 3. While he's within Shadow Warp, add 2 to the strength and increase the range by 6. Alright, so plus 1 strength, plus 3 inches to your shots, plus 2 and 6 in Shadow of the Warp. Then we got Endless Gift for Nurgle. The bearers 5-up Feel No Pain. If they're within your army Shadow of Chaos, you get a 4-up. Alright, that's solid. Slanesh Demons. Soul Stealer. Each time a bear destroys an enemy model with a melee attack, roll 1d6, adding 1 to the result if the bear is within your Shadow of Chaos. On a 4+, the bear gains 1 lost wound. That's alright. So, all of these trigger extra stuff if you're in Shadow of Chaos. So the basic rules are alright. If you get the Shadow Chaos off, they're actually really solid. And they're all stuck to specific demon legions. Alright, then they're rolling us down into Battle Shock, or not Battle Shock, Data Sheets. So we get a Scarbrand right off the bat. Movement 8, T11, 4-up save, 20 wounds, Leadership 6, Objective Control 5. He has the Bellow of Endless Fury, ignores cover torrent, 12-inch range, 2d6 shots, strength 5, AP 1 damage. And then his combat is Slaughter and Carnage, strike and sweep, 8 attacks to 16, hits on 2, 16 strength to 8, neg 4 to neg 1, 6 damage to 2. Solid profiles. Rage Embodied. While a friendly Khorne demon unit, excluding monsters and vehicles, is within 6 of this model, add 1 to the attack characteristics of melee weapons equipped by models in that unit. Alright, so if you got like Juggernauts, or what are they? Blood Crushers or Bloodletters and stuff near him, Bloodhound or Cornhounds, Fleshhounds, what are they called? You'll get bonus attacks on them. Then he's got Murderlust. While a unit is within 6 of this model, each time that unit is selected to fall back, it must take a leadership test. If the test is failed, that unit must remain stationary this phase instead. Alright, so possibly forcing stuff to stay in combat with him, so you can hit him more. That's really nice. So as you charge in, you swing first. Their turn, you get to swing first too. If they can't run away, There's not much. I mean, if something survives one round of combat with him, that's impressive, but there's not much that's surviving two. All right, and then he's an epic hero, so there's no options on him. Then we got a regular Bloodthirster, move 12, T11, 4 up save, 18 wounds, leadership 6, objection control 5. Oh, so they got Scarbrand's Invul, 4 up. Alright, Scarbrand's got a 4 up. So he's got the Axe of Corn. Well, let's go do his shooting first. He's got the Blood Flail, which is devastating wounds. One shot, 2 up to hit, strength 16 and 3d6 plus 1 damage. Hellfire Breath, ignores cover torrent. 12 inches, d6 shots, auto hit, strength 5, neg 1, 1 damage. Lash of Corn is 6 attacks, 2 up to hit, strength 8, AP0, 2 damage. No AP though, but 2 damage is nice. Then the Axe of Corn is Strike and Sweep, 8 attacks to 16, both hit on 2s, 14 to 8 for strength, neg 4 to neg 2 AP, d6 to 1 damage. Alright, I don't like when these strikes have a d6 without a plus something to it, but... Alright, then they got the Great Axe of Corn, Strike and Sweep, 7 attacks to 14, both hit on 2, strength 16 to strength 10, neg 4 to neg 2 AP, d6 plus 2 to 2. See, once again, it's like, because the Great Axe of Corn, even if you roll a 1, it's doing more damage than the sweep. The Axe of Corn, if you roll a 1, it's doing the same amount of damage as your sweep. So that's just not a fan of that. Then it has Demon Lord of Corn, while the friendly Corn demon units within 6 of this model, each time a model that unit makes a melee attack, add 1 to the hit roll. Alright, so plus 1 to hit to Corn units, Corn demon units. At the end of the fight phase, you can select one enemy unit within engagement range of this model. Roll 8d6 on each 4 plus that enemy unit suffers mortal wound. So at the end of the fight phase, you can just auto try to do 4, well, try to do 8, but normally do average 4 mortal wounds to a unit for free, just as a free ability. That's nice. And then the Great Axe of Corn can replace with one Axe of Corn and one of the following. Alright, so you just got the Hellfire Breath and the Great Axe. You can drop the Great Axe to take the Axe of Corn and one of the other shooting attacks. Then we got Skull Taker. Movement 6, T4, 4 up save, 5 wounds, leadership 7, objective control 1. He's got the Slayer Sword, which is devastating wounds and precision, so he's always been a character hunter. So 6 attacks, hits on 2s, strength 6, neg 2, 3 damage. Lord of Decapitation. So while this model is leading a unit, melee weapons equipped by models in that unit have the Devastating Wounds ability. Alright, that's nice. Skull for Corn. Each time this model makes an attack that targets a character unit, you can reroll the hit roll, you can reroll the wound roll. Each time this model destroys an enemy character, you gain 1 CP. Alright, so yeah, you really want to get him into enemy characters. And then he can join just Bloodletters. But you stick him with a squad of a Bloodletter. We'll see if they're 10-man units, 10 to 20, if they can take 5. Like, over the years, they've had so many options. We'll see what they did in this index. I actually haven't looked at it yet, so I'm actually not sure. Bloodmaster, movement 6, T4, 5 up save, 4 wounds, leadership 7, objective control 1. Then he's got a Bloodblade, which is 5 attacks, 2 up to hit, strength 6, neg 2, 3 damage. He's a Bloodmaster, so while this model is leading a unit, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, add 1 to the wound roll. Each time this model unit consolidates, it can move up to 6 inches instead of up to 3 inches. Alright, so extra consolidate, and plus 1 to wound to the unit he's leading. Only Bloodletters. If they'd have given the caveat that he could join with Skull Taker, that would have really made those Bloodletters pop. But even so, depending if he's cheap enough, yeah, just throw him in unit of Bloodletters. Then we got Skull Master. 10-inch move, T7, 4 save, 6 wounds, leadership 7, obsessive control 2. He's got the Bloodblade, 5 attacks, 2 up to hit, strength 6, neg 2, 3 damage, and then Juggernaut's Bladed Horns, extra attacks in Lance, 4 attacks, 4 up to hit, strength 6, neg 1, 1 damage. Skullmaster's Fury, while this model's leading unit, each time that unit ends a charge move, until the end of the turn, Juggernaut's Bladed Horns equipped by models in that unit have the Devastating Wounds ability. Alright, so 4 attacks per thing with Devastating Wounds, and I'm assuming he joins the Blood Crushers. Each time this model's unit ends a charge move, each enemy unit with engagement range must take... Alright, so they charge, everybody they hit takes a battle shock, and then they gain Devastating Wounds on their Juggernauts. And he can join Blood Crushers. Alright, that's solid. I like that. Red Master, Rend Master. Movement 8, T9, 4 up to hit, 9 wounds, leadership 7, objective control 3, and he's on a Blood Throne. Attendants, Hellblades are extra attacks, so they'll be going in addition. Was the Juggernaut's extra attack? Yeah, Juggernaut's extra attacks too. But anyway, so he gets 4 attacks, 3 up to hit, strength 5, negative damage, and the Blood Blade is, I think, the same as the one we saw in the other character. 5 attacks, strength 6, negative 3 damage. Blood Throne, at the start of the fight phase, select one enemy unit with an 18 of, invisible to this model until the end of the phase. Each time a friendly Khorne Demon unit makes an attack that targets that unit, improve the strength, armor penetration, and damage characteristic of that attack by 1. Wow. So at the start of the fight phase, he just selects one enemy unit, and demon units get +1 strength, armor penetration, and damage. That would stack real well if you pop that on the unit the Juggernauts charge into, and all of a sudden they're getting +1 damage with all those devastating wounds. That's really nice. Champion Slayer. Each time this model makes a melee attack that targets a character or monster unit, you can reroll a wound roll. Each time this model destroys an enemy character or monster, this model regains up to D6 lost wounds. Alright, so far every character in here, I mean, we don't know points, but rules-wise looks very solid. Then we got Karnak. He has a 12-inch move, T4, 7 up save, 5 wounds, leaves 7 objective control 1. Oh, sorry, and I've been skipping over their Demon Invul. This guy's got a 4 up. And this guy also has a 4 up. Soul Rending Fangs have precision, so he can target characters. 6 attacks, strength 6, neg 1, 2 damage. Pack Leader, while this unit is leading a unit, you can reroll advance and charge rolls made for that unit. Prey of the Blood God. At the start of the first battle round, select one enemy unit to be this model's prey. Weapons equipped by models in this model's unit have the lethal hits ability when targeting this model's prey. Each time this model's prey is destroyed, select one new enemy unit to be this model's prey. Alright, so basically you pick an enemy unit, and him and his unit get lethal hits against it, and if they destroy it, he picks a new one. Alright, that's fine. And then he has a 3-up Feel No Pain against Psychic, and he can join the Fleshhounds. So they are called Fleshhounds. I had trouble remembering what they were actually called earlier. Here's the Blood Letters. Movement 6, T4, 1 wound, 7 up save, leadership 7, objective control 2. They have the Hellblade, which is 2 attacks, tripped hit, strength 5, neg 2, 2 damage. Not a lot of attacks, but solid profile. Blood Begets Blood. Each time a model in this unit makes a melee attack, reroll a wound roll of 1. If that attack targets a unit that's below half strength, you reroll the wound instead. Alright, to reroll 1s, the unit's below half strength, reroll all wounds. They can get a 6-up leadership from the icon, and add 1 to charge rolls for the instrument. And they are just 10-man units, so no bigger, no smaller, just 10-man units. I mean, they're fine, but I wish they had the option of taking the big old 20-man. So those were always so cool, I thought, to see just big hordes of Blood Letters. Then here's the Blood Crushers. 10-inch move, T7, 4-up save, 4 wounds, leave 7 OC2, which is nice. They have the Hellblade, the same as the other guys, and they have the Juggernaut's Blade, same as there. So those are the same. Brass Stampede. Each time this unit ends a charge move, select one enemy unit with an engagement range of this unit, and roll 1d6 for each model in this unit. For each 4+, that enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Alright, so now you add that other character in here. They charge in. They're doing mortals on the hit. They're charging battle shocks on the hit. Now they're doing more potential to do devastating wound mortals with their Juggernauts horns, and they got decent AP and damage on their regular attacks. I really like these guys. And then the instrument icon looks like they do the exact same thing. They got a 4-up invul. And this is 1, so you can run 3 to 6 models. Then here's the Fleshhounds. Movement 12, T4, 7-up save, 2 wounds, leaves 7, objective control 1. They have a ranged attack called the Boiling Roar, which ignores cover torrent. 12-inch range, D6 shots, strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage. Then they have Gore Drenched Fangs, which are 3 attacks, strength 5, neg 1, 1 damage. Pouncing Hunters, you can target this unit with a heroic intervention strat for 0 CP, and you can do so even if you have already used this strat on a different unit this phase. That's nice. So you don't have to waste it on them because they don't have a lot of AP or damage. But if you need them to pile in and tie something up, you just do it after you heroic with the thing you really want to. And you can do it for 0 CP. That's nice. And then they get a 3-up Field of Pain against psychic attacks. They can take between 5 and 10. Alright. Then we get the Skull Cannon. Moving 8, T9, 4-up save, 9 wounds, leader 7, objective 3. It's got the Skull Cannon Blast, which is 48 range, D6 plus 2 shots, 3-up to hit, strength 9, neg 1, 2 damage. That's decent. You don't really get much shooting in Khorne, so that gives you a little long-range shooting in a Khorne list. Tendon's Hellblades are extra attacks. 4 attacks, strength 5, neg 2, 2 damage. And the Biting Maul is 2 attacks, strength 6, AP 0, 2 damage. Then his ability is Skulls of the Fallen. In your shooting phase, after this battle is shot, select one unit that was hit by one or more of those attacks. That unit must take a Battle Shock test. Alright, so you can just shoot stuff and cause Battle Shock tests. And you just have to hit them. You don't actually have to hurt them. And this is just one model units. If they're cheap enough, yeah, you throw a couple of these in your Khorne list. Just have some downfield shots and just cause Battle Shocks for no reason. Then we have the Skull Altar. So no movement, T12, 3-up save, 10 wounds, leave 7, OC0. It has Infiltrator. It's fortification keyword. So as an aura, the area of the battlefield within 6 inches of this fortification is considered to be within your army's Shadow of Chaos. In addition, while a friendly Khorne demon unit is within 6 inches of this fortification, each time you take a battle check for that unit, you can reroll the test. Alright, so you can infiltrate this and just push your Shadow Chaos up to the middle more, and that's really nice because he's not super easy to kill, and so that strat that only triggered in your opponent's, not in your opponent, that only triggered in your Shadow of Warp for advance and charge for Khorne units, now all of a sudden you getting to do that from midfield. So that's really nice without having to take objectives and stuff in the middle. So you can do it earlier in the game most likely. Cover. Each time a range attack is allocated to a model, if that model is not fully visible to every model in the attacking unit because of fortification, it gives cover. Alright. And then fortification. While enemy units only within engagement range of one more fortification from your army, the unit can still be selected to target of range attacks, but each attack that's not made with a pistol is -1. Models in the unit do not need to take desperate escape tests due to falling back while battle shocked, except for those that will move over any models. Basically, this is just saying it's a building, it's just sitting there. You know, you're not like locked in combat with it really, and it's not going to attack you when you run away. No options for this thing. Alright, so that's it for Khorne. Now we're rolling into Tzeentch here. We get Kairos Fate Weaver, movement 12, 10 wounds, 6-up save, 20 wounds, leadership 6, OC 5. Then you got a Psychic Shooting Attack, Infernal Gateway. It's a Blast Indirect Psychic, 24-inch range, D6 plus 3 shots, hits on 2, strength neg 2, D3 damage. You can turn it into hazardous, and it becomes D3 plus 6 instead of D6 plus 3. So still potentially the same number of shots high end, but more reliable, and then it gains an AP. Then his melee weapon is the Staff of Tomorrow, which is Psychic, 5 attacks, 3 up to hit, strength 8, neg 2, 2d3 damage. Alright, so that's not horrible. One head looks forward is an aura. Each time you target a friendly Tzeentch Legion, basically a Tzeentch Demon unit within 6 of this model with a stratagem, roll 1d6. If the result is greater than the current battle round number, you gain 1 CP. Was this model with a stratagem? Oh, so if you target a unit within 6 of him with a stratagem, you can possibly gain CP back. Alright, that's okay. One head looks back. Once per battle, after your opponent uses a stratagem, this model can use the ability. If it does, until the end of the battle. Alright, so he's a Vect. Alright, so he can possibly get you CP back, and he can Vect the opponent make whatever their core stratagem they're going to want to use the most, cost them more CP. Alright. Yeah, this the first roll's okay. This roll's really nice. It's good to have that. And then weapon profiles are solid. Uh, they're fine. Once again, it all comes down to points, but Fate Weaver looks okay. Then we have the generic Lord of Change. 12 is move, 10 toughness, 18 wounds, 6 up save, leadership 6, OC 5. Oh, and Fate Weaver has a 4 bid roll. So then it's a Rod of Sorcery shot, which is psychic, 12-inch range, 6 attacks, 2 up to hit, strength 8, neg 1, d3 damage. Then there's the Bolt of Change, which is a Witchfire, 18-inch, strength 9, or 9 attacks, 2 up to hit, strength 9, neg 1, 1 damage. And then if you make it hazardous, looks like all you gain is 1 AP and it becomes d3 instead of 1. And then combat, he has the Baleful Sword, which is extra attacks, so 3 attacks, strength 7, extra 3 damage, and then the Staff of Tzeentch, 5 attacks, strength 6, neg 1, 3 damage. Alright, so basically getting 8 3 damage attacks out of him. That's pretty decent. Then he has a Demon Lord of Tzeentch. While a friendly Tzeentch demon unit is within 6 of this model, each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack, add 1 to the strength characteristic of that attack. Alright, so plus 1 to the strength of Tzeentch ranged weapons near him, which should affect his shots as well. Then Master of Magics. In your shooting phase, select one of the following abilities. Ignore hits, lethal hits, sustained hits, D3. Until the end of the phase, this model's Bolt of Change has that ability. Alright, so he can give his Bolt of Change either ignores cover, lethal hits, or sustained hits D3. So if they're in cover, great, yep, because you don't have super high AP, but I think a lot of times that sustained hits D3 with 9 attacks is probably the way to go. And then, once again, not a lot of options. He can just take the Rod of Sorcery or the Baleful Sword. He doesn't drop his Staff of Tzeentch for that. So basically, you can take an extra shooting attack or an extra melee attack. Then we got the Changeling. He's a 6-inch move, T3, 7 up save, 5 wounds, leadership 7, OC 1. He has Infernal Flames as a Witchfire. So 12 inches, D6, auto hit, strength 6, neg 1, 1 damage. And if you turn it hazardous, you get an extra 3 shots, and it goes to D3 damage. He has a Trickster Staff, which is psychic. 3 attacks, strength 4, neg 1, D3 damage, but he only hits on 4s. He has a Lone Operative, and he has Stealth. So that's alright. And then he's got Formless Horror. Each time an enemy unit wishes to select this model as the target of an attack, that unit must first take a Battle Shock test. If that test is failed, in addition to being Battle Shocked, the enemy unit cannot target this model this phase. Alright, so one, he can't be picked out, and he's -1 to hit, and if you do get over there to him, or even get him where he can be shot, you have to pass a Battle Shock test or you can't. Alright, so this guy's gonna be good for like some really good little shenanigans there. Mischief and Confusion. At the start of your opponent's shooting phase, select one enemy unit within 12 of and visible to this model. Roll 1d6. On a 2 to 5 until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. On a 6, the enemy unit is not eligible to shoot this phase. Oh, that's gross. So you pick one unit in your opponent's army within 12. You roll a 6, they can't shoot. Then they try to shoot you with a different unit. You're like, oh, take a Battle Shock test. Fail it. When it's each time, it's not one time. So you could potentially, if they keep failing Battle Shock tests, you could make their whole army not be able to shoot you. I mean, unlikely, but in the occasion where that does, if you stop 2 or 3 units in a row, like, that would be super frustrating. Oh, I guess these other units can choose something else to target, because it doesn't say they lose their shots, but this unit can't shoot at all. Yeah, he's an epic hero, so you can only take one of him. Then we got Fate Skimmer. Move 12, T7, 6 up save, 9 wounds, leadership 7, OC 3. He's got a Arcane Fireball, which is a Witchfire Psychic. Well, all Witchfire Psychic. 3 attacks, strength 5, neg 1, D3 damage. You pump it up, it goes to strength 6, neg 2, still D3 damage. He's got the Herald Combat Weapon, which is Psychic. It's 3 attacks, 4 up to hit, strength 4, neg 1, 1 damage. And then his Screamer Bites, his little Screamer he's riding, does 6 attacks, strength 6, neg 2, 2 damage, but all his attacks hit on 4s. Then face it while this model is leading a unit, melee weapons equipped by models in that unit have the lethal hits ability. Alright, so he gives lethal hits to the melee attacks of his units. And then Rider of the Material Wind, once per battle at the end of your opponent's turn. If this model's unit is not within engaged range of one or more enemy units, you can remove it from the battlefield and place it in strategic reserves. So this is another one where at the end of your opponent's turn, you put your models back into strategic reserves. And this one doesn't specify they have to come in the next turn. So I'm not sure if there's rules in the rule books or anything about that saying you do, but if there's not, then he could potentially go in on turn 3, come back on turn 4. And then he's got a 4-up invul. And no war options, he can attach to Screamers. We got the Fluxmaster, 12-inch move, T4, 6-up save, 4 wounds, Leadership 7, OC1. He's got the Arcane Fireball, which is that the same as... Yeah, so it's the same Witchfire power. Then he's got the Herald Combat Weapon, which I believe is the same as we saw before, but it's 3 attacks, strength 4, neg 1, 1 damage. Then Fluxmaster, while this model is leading a unit, each time an attack is made against that unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll, so it gives this unit -1 to hit. And then once per battle round, after a hit roll, wound roll, or saving throw is made for this model, you can change the result of that roll to a 6. Alright, so this is just for him, not for his unit. So the save roll probably won't be used until you kill him, unless we got precision. But a hit and a wound with his psychic attack, that's not horrible. Or a hit or a wound. Not a hit and a wound. Then we got, and then he can join pink horrors and blue horrors. Then we got the blue scribes. They're movement 12, T4, 6-up save, 6 wounds, leadership 8, OC2. He's got sharp quills, which are anti-psyker 2+. It's 4 attacks, weapon skill 5, strength 2, AP0, 1 damage. So unless you're attacking a psyker, that's not going to do a lot. Then he's got Petaric Sorceress Siphon. While an enemy unit is within 12 of this model, each time a model in that unit makes a psychic attack, subtract 1 from the wound roll. So this isn't just against just any psychers within 12 of him taking psychic, or anyone making psychic attacks within 12 of him are going to -1 to the wound roll. And it doesn't say ranged, so even if they have psychic melee weapons, so Grey Knights, Thousand Suns, a lot of the demons we saw here, so he's going to be good fighting against that kind of stuff. Zerat's Sorceress Barges. At the end of your movement phase, roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within 6 inches of this model. On a 2 to 3, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound. On a 4 to 5, they take d3, and on a 6, they take d6. Alright, so within 6 of him at the end of the movement phase, he's at the end of his movement phase, he just can possibly hand out mortals. They have no options, they don't join anybody. We got the Changecaster. He's a 6-inch move, T3, 6-up save, 3 wounds, leadership 7, 1 OC. Arcane Fireball, Herald Weapon, so these are the same as before. Was the leading unit, ranged attacks equipped by that unit have sustained hits 1. Then Storm of Mutating Sorcery. In your shooting phase, after this model is shot, select one NA infantry unit hit by 1 or more of those attacks. That unit must take a Battle Shock test. Alright, so once again, handing out Battle Shock tests. And he shoots 18 inches, so basically you can just shoot at a unit within 18 inches and do that. He can join blue and pink horrors. It's funny, they listed on pink and then blue before, now they listed blue and then pink. I mean, just thought that was funny. Nothing interesting about that, really. Blue horrors are 6-inch move, T3, 8, save of 8, 1 wound, leadership 8, OC1. They have score-cating blue flames and coruscating yellow flames. So both are 18, both are 2 attacks, 4 up to 5 up plus skill, strength 3 to strength 2, neg 1, and 1 damage on both. And then once again they have blue claws and yellow claws, 1 attack to 2, both hit on 5, strength 3 to strength 2, AP 0 and 1 damage on both. Alright, split. Each time a blue horror model in this unit is destroyed, after the attacking unit has finished making its attacks, if that unit is not destroyed, roll 1d6 for that model. On a 4+, add 1 Brimstone horror model to this unit. Alright, so if the attacking unit has finished making its attacks, if this unit... Alright, so if his unit's not destroyed, you kill blue horrors. On a 4-up, they split in... Oh, they don't split. They turn into 1 Brim. Alright, so it's not one horror becoming two horrors like it used to be, so just getting one brim. Then Cackling Horrors. While an enemy unit is within 6 inches of this unit, if this unit contains one or more blue horrors, subtract one from that enemy unit's leadership characteristic. Alright, so just messing with Battle Shock and Leadership again. Exploding Horrors. Each time this unit is selected to fight, you can select one enemy unit within engagement range of it, then select one or more Brimstone Horror models in the unit. For each Brimstone Horror model you select, roll 1d6. On a 4+, that model is destroyed and the enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Alright, so I guess if you don't roll a 4 up, the Brimstone is not destroyed, and you don't take a mortal. So it's not like you sacrifice the Brim, and if you fail to roll a 4 up, you lose it for no reason. Alright, so they still get to split, but it's only into 1 instead of 2, and then the yellow flames and claws are for the brims, I'm assuming, and then the blue are for the... Oh, that'll tell us right here, won't it? Yeah, so blue are for the horrors, or the blues, and then yellows are for the brims. Alright, then pink horrors, 6 up movement, T3, 7 up save, 1 wound, leadership 7, OC2, and then the blue and brimstones are strength 6, 3 up, 7, 1, 8, 1, which I believe is the same as here. Yep, so it's the same profile they have up there. They just listed it again. Split. Each time a pink horror or blue horror model in this unit is destroyed, after attacking unit is finished making attacks. Say on a 4 up, they split. A pink horror turns into 2 blue horrors, and a blue horror turns into 1 brim. Alright, so the pinks still turn into 2 blues. They have you get to get a 6 up leadership and +1 to charge rolls for the icons and stuff. Then the pink flames, 2 attacks, strength 4, -1, 1 damage. And then the pink claws are 1 attack, strength 3, AP 0, 1 damage. That's funny, the brim have more attacks than the other guys. So you take up the 10 pink horrors, which could potentially turn into 20 blue horrors. Whereas the other unit, 10 blues, can only turn into 10 brims, possibly. And then this is just telling who has what claws, and they can equip with the icons. If at any point this unit contains no pink horror models, use the blue horrors data sheet for this unit. Alright, I don't know why you have to do that, because this is the same, and once these guys are gone, you get these weapons anyway. Deep Strike, Shadow of Chaos, Deep Strike, Shadow of Chaos, Infiltrators. I really don't see anything. I don't see why that's listed there for any reason, really. It seems to do nothing, unless I'm missing something. Then Flamers, 9-inch move, T4, 7 up save, 3 wounds, leadership 7, OC1. They have Flickering Flames, which is Ignore Cover, Psychic Torrent, 12 inches, D6 shots, strength 4, -1, 1 damage. Not nearly as scary as it used to be. Flamer Mouths are 3 attacks, strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage. They are eligible to shoot in a turn in which they fell back, but not advanced. And they just have 1 Flickering Flame. Alright, that's okay. Not nearly what Flamers have been in the past. Sometimes they have been army-defining units, but they're just okay right now. Then you get the Exalted Flamer. He has the the fires each. You can do blue fire, pink fire. So blue fire is ignores cover, psychic. 3 attacks, strength 9, -3, 3 damage. Or the pink fire, ignore cover, psychic torrent. It's only 12-inch range, 2d6, auto hit, strength 5, -1, 1 damage. And then he has a Flamer Mouth, but he gets an extra attack. Then Blazing Warfire, psychic. While this model leaves a unit, ranged weapons equipped by models in that unit have the assault ability. Alright, so you attach him to the flamers and they can advance and shoot. Alright, so that helps a little bit. And then Flame of Change, psychic. In your shooting phase, after this model is shot, select one enemy unit, excluding monsters or vehicles, hit by 1 or more of those attacks. Roll 1d6 on a 4+ until the end of your opponent's next turn. That enemy unit is flame. Well, the unit is a flame, subtract 2 from its move characteristic and subtract 2 from its advance and charge. Alright, so that's not bad. You could possibly light one of your enemy units on fire. It doesn't do extra damage, but it slows them down. I'm assuming they're just trying to roll around and turn fire out is what the logic is behind that. And then he can join Flamers, he can't be your warlord and he cannot get enhancements. Then we got Screamers, 14-inch move, T4, 6-up save, 3 wounds, leaves for 7-1 OC. Then we've got the Lamprey Bite, which is 3 attacks, strength 6, negative 2 damage. They have a Slashing Dive. In your movement phase, after this unit ends a normal move, you can select one enemy unit is moved over. Roll 1d6 for each model in this unit. For each 4+, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Alright, so let's do mortals in the movement phase. They can take 3 to 6. Then we have the Burning Chariot, which is movement 12, T8, 7-up saves, 9 wounds, leadership 7, OC 3. Looks like he's got the same fire as Inch. He's got Flamer Mouths and Screamer Bites. Flamer Mouths are 6 attacks, strength 5, AP 0, 1 damage, and Screamer Bites are 6 attacks, strength 6, negative 2 damage, and the Screamer Bites have extra attacks. Then he's got the Eldritch Flame Psychic Power. In your shooting phase, after this model is shot, select one unit that was hit by one or more of those attacks. Until the end of the phase, that unit cannot have the benefit of cover. Alright, so he can turn off the cover on one of the enemy units. Alright, that's alright. One model unit, can't join anything. Alright, so that's the Tzeentch. Now they're going to roll us into the Nurgle. So we got Rodigus, which is 7-inch move, T12, 5-up save, 22 wounds, leadership 6, OC 5. He's got a ranged weapon, Streams of Brackish Filth. With their devastating wounds, ignore cover torrent. It's a 12-inch range, 2d6 shots, no AP, strength 7, negative 2, 1 damage. Or, so not no AP, auto hit, strength 7, negative 2, 1 damage. Then he's got Gnarl Rod, which has a strike and a sweep. They're both lethal hit psychic. 7 attacks to 14, both hit on 2, strength 8 to 7, neg 3 to neg 1, 3 damage to 1 damage. Alright, that's an okay profile. Then he has Virulent Blessing, Psychic. At the start of your fight phase, you can select one enemy unit with an 18 and visible to this model. Till the end of the phase, each time an attack made by a Nurgle Demon unit is allocated to, or Nurgle Demon model is allocated to a model in that unit, add 1 to the damage characteristic of the attack. Alright, so you can give +1 damage against a target for demons in the fight phase. And then Deluge of Nurgle. While an enemy unit is within 6 inches of this model, have the move and objective control characteristic of model in that unit. That's not bad. He's got a 5 OC, so just by moving near people, he can take the objective from them, from a lot of units. Or even if you have a 5-man battle line at OC2 for everybody, he's still contesting it. Epic Hero, no options. And then we got the regular Great Unclean one, movement 7, T12, 5-up save, 20 wounds, leadership 6, OC 5. Ranged weapon, he has a Plague Flail, which is range 6, D6 +1 attacks, 3 up to hit, strength 7, negative 2 damage. He's got a Putrid Vomit, which is ignore cover torrent, 12-inch range, D6 +3 attacks, 2 up to hit, strength 5, negative 2, 1 damage. Combat, he's got that Bile Blade, which is extra attack, lethal hits. It's 3 attacks, strength 6, negative 2 damage. Bile Sword has strike and sweep, both have lethal hits. 6 attacks to 12, 2 up to hit, 8 to 6 on strength, neg 2 to neg 1 AP, and then D6 to 1 on damage. And then the Doomsday Bell also has lethal hits and Reverberating Summon. So 6 attacks, 2 up to hit, strength 7, neg 1, 2 damage, and then Reverberating Summons. Each time this model is destroyed by this weapon, you can select one friendly Plague Bearer unit within 12 of this bear and destroy one Plague Bearer model to that unit. Each time a model is destroyed by this weapon. So you can just start popping Plague Bearers back into units. And they got lethal hits on all this stuff. I'm interested to see if that's taking the place of the old Plague Weapon keyword. Then we got Demon Lord of Nurgle. Well, a friendly Nurgle unit is within 6 of this model. Models in that unit have the Feel No Pain 6+ ability. Then Nurgle's Rot at Psychic. At the end of your movement phase, you can select one enemy unit within 12 of this model, and at the start of your next movement phase, subtract 1 for the toughness of that unit. That's nice. Alright. Big chunky boy doing what he does. He comes with a Plague Flail and Future Vomit Bile Sword. The Plague Flail can replace the Well, Plague Fell can be replaced with one Bile Blade, not Bile Sword. And the Bile Sword replaced with a Doomsday Bell. Poxbringer is 5-inch move, T5, 7 up save, 5 wounds, leadership 7, OC1. He's got the Foul Bale Sword, which is lethal hits, 4 attacks, strength 5, negative 2 damage. Poxbringer, while this model is leading a unit, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, a successful unmodified hit roll of a 5 plus scores a critical hit. So it'll stack with him too. So on 5s, he will be getting, if he's leading unit on 5s, he'll be getting extra hits. Then Feculent Despair. While an enemy unit is within 6 of this model, each time that unit makes a Battle Shock test, subtract 1 from the test. Alright, so more Battle Shock shenanigans. A 5 up save. He can join Plague Bearers. Then the Spoil Pox Scrivener. He has move of 5, T5, 7 up save, 5 wounds, leadership 6, 1 OC. Range weapon is Disgusting Sneezes. It's a pistol torrent. 6-inch range, D6 shots, auto hit, strength AB01 damage. Plague Sword and Distended Maul, lethal hits, 6 attacks, 3 hits, strength 5, neg 1 damage. Keep counting. While this model's leading unit, melee weapons equipped by models in that unit have the sustained hits 1 ability. And while this model is leading a unit, add 1 to the objective control characteristics of models in that unit. Alright, and then he can join Plague Bearers. Alright, so you can give him to Plague Bearers for sustained hits, or you can give the other guy to Plague Bearers for lethal hits. Then we got an Epidemus, 5-inch move, T5, 6 up save, 8 wounds, leadership 7, 2 OC. Bale Sword, Norgling Attendants with lethal hits, D6 plus 3 attacks, weapon skill 3, strength 5, negative 2 damage. He's blessed by the Paid God. While he's leading unit, the unit gets a 4-up invul save. Tally of Pestilence. Keep a tally of how many enemy models are destroyed by Nurgle models from your army during the battle. At the start of your command phase, if the tally is 7 or more, you gain 1 CP, and the tally is reset to 0. I actually don't gain any army rules anymore, but once you kill 7, every 7 models you kill gives you CP. But that's just per turn, per battle round, because if you kill more than 7, it still resets to 0. Then he can also lead Plague Bearers. Then we got the Sloppity Bile Piper. 5-inch move, T5, 7 up save, 5 wounds, leadership 7, OC1. He's got the Marauder, which has lethal hits, 4 attacks, strength 5, AP01 damage. He has Jolly Gut Pipes. While this model is leading a unit, add 1 to the move characteristics of the model in that unit, and you can reroll advanced rolls made for that unit. At the start of the fight phase, every enemy unit, excluding monsters and vehicles within 6 of this model, must take a Battle Shock test. Alright, so once again, more Battle Shock shenanigans. And then he can also lead Plague Bearers. So you got a bunch of little characters here that can lead Plague Bearers. So you could possibly bring 4 units of Plague Bearers, and each one have its own unique character, giving it rules to let it act slightly different than the other ones. Or maybe we'll have another one. Let's see. Horticulus Slimix, 6-inch move, T10, 3 up save, 10 wounds, leadership 7, OC2. Acidic Maw, devastating wounds, extra attacks. So 2 attacks, strength 7, negative 4, 3 damage. And then Loping Shears are lethal hits, 4 attacks, strength 6, negative 3 damage. While this model is leading a unit, you can reroll charge rolls made for that unit. In addition, once per battle, you can target that unit with a Heroic Intervention strat for 0 CP and do it even if it's already been used. Then he has Seed the Garden of Nurgle. At the end of your movement phase, if this model is within an area terrain feature, until the end of the battle, that area terrain feature is considered to be within your army's Shadow of Chaos. Alright, cool. We've seen that in a couple of things. Like we had the fortification from Khorne, and now this guy here where he just moves into a terrain feature at the end of your movement and be like, hey, this is now Shadow of Chaos. And like, enemy units can be in it. So like, you could YOLO him into your opponent's terrain features in your opponent's deployment zone, pop this, and all of a sudden, even if he dies, it stays there for the rest of the game. Now you're deep striking within 6. Like, that's really nice. And he can join Beasts of Nurgle. Then we got here's the Plague Bearers. Movement 5, T5, 7 up save, 2 wounds, leap 7, OC2. Plague Swords are lethal hits, 2 attacks, 3 up to hit, strength 4, neg 1 damage. They have Infected Outbreak. If you control objective marker at the end of your command phase, and this unit is within range of that marker, basically just gives them sticky markers, sticky objective markers. And then Icons and Instrument, 6 up leadership, +1 to charge rolls, same as I think we've seen on all the units for that. They take 10-man models only. Then we get the Nurglings, are movement 5, T3, save 7, 4 wounds, leadership 8, OC 0. They have Disease, Claws, and Teeth, which are lethal hits, 4 attacks, strength 2, AP 0, 1 damage. While enemy unit excluding monster vehicles within 6 of this unit, each time a model unit makes a melee attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Alright, so just gives it out -1 in melee, and they don't actually have to be in the combat, they just have to be near the combat. 3 to 9-man squads. And here's the Beasts of Nurgle. Movement 6, T9, 6 up save, 7 wounds, leadership 7, OC 2. Putrid Appendages have devastating wounds. 6 attacks, strength 6, neg 1, 2 damage. They have Grotesque Regeneration. At the end of the phase, if a Beast of Nurgle model in this unit has lost any wounds but is not destroyed, that model regains all of its lost wounds. Oh my gosh, that's really... They got 7 wounds. So if you don't do all 7 wounds to a model, you get him down to 1, he basically gains 6 wounds back. At the end of each phase? Wow. That's really strong. And then you add that character that could join with him. Like, I really liked him too. Alright, I mean, we'll see what their points are, but everybody be ready to be fighting against Beasts of Nurgle, because this is really nice. And they get OC 2. Yeah. It's only 1 to 2 man, so there's not a lot of them, but I'd spam a couple of these boys out. Plague Drones, movement 10, T8, 6 up save, 5 wounds, leadership 7, OC 2. Their shot is the Death Heads. It's blast and lethal hits, 12-inch range, D3 attacks, ballistic skill 4, strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage. Melee foul mouth parts are extra attack lethal hits, 2 attacks, strength 5, neg 1, 2 damage. And the Plague Sword, also lethal hits, 2 attacks, strength 4, neg 1, 1 damage. And then Death Heads. In your shooting phase, after this unit shot, select one unit hit by one or more of those attacks. Until the turn, each time a friendly Nurgle Demon unit makes an attack that targets that unit, you can reroll the hit roll, reroll the wound roll. Alright, so basically, yeah, you shoot, so that's something, and then all your shooting and combat against that unit for the rest of the round has, or for the rest of the turn has reroll wounds. And then Icons and Instrument, the same as everybody. They can take 3 to 6-man units. Oh, and then here's their fortification. The Feculent Gnarl Maul. This is also has an infiltrator, so it looks like these fortifications are getting infiltrate. T9, 4 up save, 9 wounds, leadership 7, no AFC. Shroud of Flies, while a friendly Nurgle unit is within 6 of this fortification, model unit have stealth. Diseased Cover. Each time a ranged attack is allocated to a model, if that model is not fully visible, but that's all fortifications are going to have that, I think. Just give and cover if you're blocked at all. And then while a unit is only within engagement range, so those are all the regular fortification rules models. So just the Shroud of Flies is their unique thing. But basically gives Nurgle units -1 to hit within range to range. Alright, and then nothing else on him. Alright, and now we're down into Tzeentch. We got a Shalaxi Hellbane, 14-inch move, T10, 5 up save, 20 wounds, leadership 6, OC 5. Has the Lashish Slanesh, which is assault, 6 attacks, strength 6, neg 1, 2 damage. And then Bafana Slanesh, which is a Witchfire, 18-inch range, D6 shots, strength 9, neg 1, D3 damage. And if you pump it up to Hazardous, it gains sustained hits 3, +1 AP, and damage stays the same. Then a melee, he has Snapping Claws, which are devastating wounds, extra attacks, which are 4 attacks, strength 6, neg 2, 3 damage. And then Soul Piercer, which is precision, 6 attacks, strength 14, neg 3, d6 +2. Alright, so yeah, don't get him into let him get into your characters' attached units, because he will just slap your characters right out of there. So got Feel No Pain 5+, 4-up Invul, Cloak of Constriction. At the start of the fight phase, select one enemy unit with engagement range of this model. Until the end of the phase, subtract 1 from the attack's characteristics of melee weapons equipped by that unit. Alright, so -1 attacks from people attacking him. Monarch of the Hunt. Each time this model declares a charge that targets a monster, vehicle, or character unit, you can reroll the charge roll. Each time this model makes a melee attack that targets a vehicle, monster, or character unit, you can roll the hit roll, wound roll, and damage roll. Alright, so he gets, rerolls his charges and all his attacks, wounds, and damage against monsters, vehicles, and characters. Very nice. Then we got the regular Keeper of Secrets, 14-inch move, 10 wounds, 5-up save, toughness 10, 5-up save, 18 wounds, leadership 6, OC 5. He's got the Living Whip, which is assault. I think it might be the same thing he had up there. 6 attacks, strength 6, -1, 2 damage. He's got the Phantasmagoria, 18-inch range, 6 attacks, hits on 2, strength 6, -2, 1 damage. If you make it hazardous, you basically just gain 3 attacks. The rest of the profile stays the same. He has a Ritual Knife for extra attacks, which is 3 attacks, strength 6, -2, 2 damage. He has a Snapping Claws, which are devastating wounds, extra attacks, which is 4 attacks, strength 6, -2, 3 damage. Then he's got the Wit Stealer Sword, which is 6 attacks, strength 8, -2, 3 damage. And then he gives +1 AP to Slaanesh units near him, and then each time an attack targets him, it's -1 to hit. And then he's got the 5-up Feel No Pain. Alright, solid there. And yeah, you get give him one of these 3 things. He doesn't get all of them. Then you got the Infernal Rapturous. Move 9, T3, Strength 7, 3 wounds, Leadership 7, OC 1. She got the Heartstring Leer, which has the Cacophonous Melody and Euphonic Melody. So they're both assault. The first one is 18-inch range, 6 shots, strength 6, AP 0, 1 damage. The second one is 24-inch range, 1 shot, strength 12, -3, D6, +1 damage. Then she has Ravaging Claws, which are devastating wounds, 5 attacks, strength 4, -1, 1 damage. And she has a Harmonic Alignment. While this model is leading a unit, if your command phase, you can turn D3 destroyed bodyguard models to that unit. And then while an enemy Psyker unit is within 12 of that model, psychic weapons equipped by models in that unit have the Hazardous ability. So basically, enemy Psykers near you have to, if they shoot their weapons, all become hazardous. So that's nice. And then she can lead Demonettes. Then we got the Mask of Slaanesh, move 9, T3, 7-up save, 4 wounds, leadership 7, OC 1. She has Serrated Claws, devastating wounds, 6 attacks, strength 4, -1, 2 damage. Fights first, Lone Operative. Do we have that on here? No. So Mask has fight first. Start of the fight phase, select one enemy unit within 6 of this model to the end of the phase. Each time a friendly Slaanesh Demon unit makes an attack, add 1 to the wound roll. And each time a model in the enemy unit makes a melee attack, subtract 1 from the wound roll. And then Dazzling Acrobatics. This model is eligible to declare a charge at tournament to advance or fall back. She's a lone operative, so she's not joining anybody, but she does have fight first, which is nice. Then we got, and did she have lone operative? Yeah, she does. So she's hard to target, and she has fight first. And then we got Selesky. 9-inch move, T6, 6-up save, 9 wounds, leadership 6, OC 2. Cacophonic Choir. Is a Witchfire, devastating wounds, ignore cover, psychic torrent. 12-inch range, D6 shots, strength 6, -1, 1 damage. You can make it hazardous, and you gain another D6, so it becomes 2D6 shots. Scourging Whip is assault, 9-inch range, strength 6 attacks, strength 4, -1, 1 damage. Axe of Dominion, 6 attacks, strength 7, -2, 3 damage. Scourging Whip, extra attacks, 6 attacks, strength 4, -1, 1 damage. And then Princess Slaanesh. While this model is leading a unit, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, a successful unmodified wound roll of 5+ scores a critical hit. Delightful Agony. First time this model is destroyed, roll 1d6. On the end of the phase, on a 2+, set this model back on the battlefield as close as possible where it was destroyed, and not within engagement range of any models, with its full wounds remaining. Oh wow, so first time he dies on a 2-up, he's coming back with all 9 wounds. Alright, and then he can join Demonettes. Alright, then we got the Contorted Epitome, and then it's got coiled. It's movement 9, T6, 5 up save, 8 wounds, leadership 7, OC2. It's got coiled tentacles, which are extra attacks, D6 attacks, strength 5, neg 1, 2 damage, ravaging claws, devastating wounds, 8 attacks, strength 4, neg 1, 1 damage. It's got swallow energy. While this model is leading a unit, models in the unit have a 4 up feel no pain against mortal and psychic. Alright, that's solid. A horrible fascination. At the start of your opponent's shooting phase, one psycho model from your army with this ability can use it. If it does so, select one enemy unit within 12 inches of and visible to that psycho model and roll 1d6. Only when a psyker suffers d3 mortal wounds. On a 2 to 5, until the end of the phase, each time a model in that enemy unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. On a 6, the enemy unit is not eligible to shoot this phase. Alright, so you can possibly make a unit not shoot or take mortals. Then he also joins Demonettes. Torment Bringer, an Exalted Seeker on Chariot. 14-inch move, T6, 5 up save, 12 wounds, leadership 7, OC 3. Lashes of Torment or Anti-Infantry 3+, Assault Pistol, 6-inch range, 6 attacks, BS 3, Strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage. Then melee weapons are Exalted Seeker Tongues, extra attack lethal hits, 8 attacks, Strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage, and then Ravaging Claws, devastating wounds, 15 attacks, Strength 4, neg 1, 1 damage. And then Torrent Bringer, while friendly / demon units within 6, their melee weapons get sustained hits. Hysterical Frenzy, once per fight phase, just after enemy unit selects a Slaanesh demon unit from their army as a target. One friendly psyker that is within 6 of that Slaanesh unit and has ability can use it. If it does, until the end of the phase, each time a model in that Slaanesh unit is destroyed, roll 1d6. On a 4+, do not remove it from play. That model can fight after the attacking model units finish making attacks and then remove from play. Alright, so basically you can give a unit, one of your Slaanesh units fight first, or fight on death. Alright, and then we got the Transweaver, which is Ravaging Claws, devastating wounds, 6 attacks, weapon skill 2, 4 attack, or strength 4, neg 1, 1 damage. There's got a Transweaver, which is, while this model is leading a unit, models in the unit have fight first ability. Alright, that's really nice. Then at the end of your movement phase, you can select one enemy unit that is battle shocked, and within 12 of this model until the end of your turn, each time a Slaanesh demon unit from model makes an attack that targets that enemy unit, you can roll the hit roll and reroll the wound roll. Alright, so just give a unit reroll hit and wounds against a battle shocked unit. Then can also join Demonettes. Let's see. What's next? Alright, now we have the actual Demonettes. Have movement 9, T3, 7 up save, 1 wound, leadership 7, OC 2. And then they have slashing claws, which are devastating wounds. 3 attacks, strength 4, neg 1, 1 damage. And then Swift Talon Slaughter. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack, reroll a hit roll of 1. If that target of that attack is within range of objective marker, reroll all hit rolls. Then Icon and Instrument do the same thing we've seen with everything. What else we got? And then they can take 10-man units. And then what's next? We got the Fiends, our 12-inch move, T5 leadership, or 7 up save, 4 wounds, leadership 7, OC 2. Stupid ant. Then we got Barbed Tail and Dissecting Claws. It's 5 attacks, hits on 3, strength 5, neg 2, 2 damage, has devastating wounds. Sporific Must. While an enemy unit, excluding Vehicle and Titanic units, is within 6 inches of this unit, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. And each time a model in that unit takes a desperate escape test, subtract 1 from that test. Blah. Alright, so basically you can make enemy unit neg 1 to hit and make their desperate breakout harder. So that's not horrible. And then they take between 3 and 6. And the Blissbringer, I don't see anything special, just it gets a special name. Then we got the Seekers, 14-inch move, T4, 7 up save, 2 wounds, leave 7, OC1. They have Lashing Tongues with extra attacks, lethal hits. It's 2 attacks, strength 4, AP 1 damage, and the Slashing Claws are devastating wounds, which are 3 attacks, strength 4, neg 1 damage. They have a Scout 9 inches. You can reroll advance and charge rolls made for this unit, and then Banner and Icon are the same. And they can take between 5 and 10. Then we have the Hellflayer, which is movement 14, T6, 5 up save, 7 wounds, leadership 7, OC3. It's Lashes of Torment, which are anti-infantry 3+, assault pistol. 6 at range, 6 attacks, strength 4, AP 1 damage. Bladed Axle are extra attacks, so 6 attacks, strength 6, neg 2 damage. Seeker's Tongue are also extra attacks and have lethal hits. 4 attacks, strength 4, AP 1 damage, and then Slashing Claws are devastating wounds. 9 attacks, 3 up to hit, strength 4, AP 1 damage. Cutting down the foe. Each time this unit is selected to fight, you can select one enemy unit with an engagement range of it and roll 1d6, adding 2 to the result if that unit is an infantry unit. On a 2 to 3, that enemy unit suffers d3. On a 4 to 5, suffers 3, and on a 6, takes d3 plus 3. Alright, so just in a way, you can do Immortals right before you fight. And then you can take 1 to 2 of them in a unit. And then we get the Seeker Chariot, which is movement 14, T6, 5 up save, 7 wounds, leadership 7, OC3. We got Lash of Torment, which is anti-infantry 3+, assault pistol. And then Seeker Tongues and Slashing Claws. I think this is all very similar, just number of attacks changed to the other model had. Scythe Impact. Each time this unit makes a charge move until the end of the phase, melee weapons equipped by models in the unit have the anti-infantry 4+ ability. Then you can take 1 to 2 of them. And then the Exalted Seeker Chariot. So it's just a Seeker Chariot. 6, 5, 7, 7, 6, 5. Alright, so this has more wounds. Looks like same weapons, just once again attack number changes. Infernal Engines of Torment. In the fight phase, after this model is finished making its attacks, if one or more enemy units were destroyed as a result of those attacks, every enemy unit within 6 must take Battle Shock. Alright, so more Battle Shock shenanigans. And they're just a 1 model unit. Alright, and that's all the specific Chaos Gods ones. Now rolling into some of the more that serve like all the gods or no gods. So we got Be'lakor, 12-inch move, T10, 4 up save, 18 wounds, leadership OC5. He's got Betraying Shrades, which 18-inch range, strength, or 9 attacks, 2 up to hit, strength 5, negative 1 damage. You can turn it into Torrent, in which case it becomes 3 extra attacks, 1 extra strength, and 1 extra AP. And they both ignore cover and have devastating wounds. Blades of Shadow has Strike and Sweep. The Strike has lethal hits, so it's 6 attacks to 14, both hit on 2s, 14 to 8 on strength, neg 4 to neg 3 on AP, d6 plus 1 to 1 on damage. I has Dark Master Aura. The area battlefield within 6 of him is considered your army's shadow. And then at the start of the battle round, select one of the Shadow Forms ability on the left, and he gets that. Alright, so at the start of the battle round, you can select one of these each turn. You can make a friendly unit within 6. Can only be targeted by ranged attack if the enemy is within 18. Then Pall of Despair. In the Battle Shock stack of your opponent's command phase, if an enemy unit below its starting strength within 6 of this model, must take a Battle Shock test. Alright, so this, below starting strength, taking a Battle Shock test. And then Shadow Lord. While a friendly Demon unit within 6 of this model, you can roll Battle Shock and Leadership test for that unit. This one's really nice. These two are okay. So that's all on Be'lakor. He seems solid. And then we got the Soul Grinder. Movement 8, T11, 3 up save, 14 wounds, leadership 7, OC 5. They have a Harvester Cannon, which is 3 shots, strength 10, neg 1, 3 damage. The Torrent of Burning Blood, ignore covers Torrent. 2d6, Strength 5, neg 1 damage. And then we got Phlegm Bombardment, which is Blast, Indirect Fire, Lethal Hits, 36-inch range, d6 plus 1 shots, Strength 7, neg 2 damage. Scream of Despair, which is 24-inch range, 6 attacks, Strength 9, neg 2 damage. Warp Gaze is Blast, 48-inch range, d3 attacks, Strength 12, neg 2 d6 plus 2 damage. The Iron Claw is 5 attacks, Strength 16, neg 3 d6 plus 2. Warp Claw's extra attacks, 6 attacks, Strength 8, neg 2 damage. Warp Sword is extra attacks, 3 attacks, Strength 8, neg 2 d6. Each time this model makes a normal move or advance, you can move over friendly monsters and vehicle models and terrain features that are 4 inches or less in height as if they were not there. Alright, just a little shooting tank for your demons. Demon Prince of Chaos with an 8, T10, 2 up save, 10 wounds, leadership 6, OC3. Infernal Cannon is 24-inch range, 3 attacks, strength 5, neg 2 damage. Health 4 has strike and sweep, 6 attacks goes to 14, strength 8 goes to 6, neg 2 goes to 0, 3 damage goes to 1. If he's Korn, he adds 2 to strength. If he's Zinch, he adds 3 to attacks of his cannon. Nurgle, add 1 to his toughness. Slanesh, add 2 to his move. While friendly Legion demon unit within 6 of this model, they units have stealth. Once per battle at the start of any phase, this model can use that ability. If it does, until the end of the phase, this model's a 3-up invul. Alright, so once per battle, he can take the 3-up invul for a phase. And then you can select a keyword to give him if you want to. Then we have the Demon Prince with Wings, which is a 12-inch move. It's T9, 2 up save, 10 wounds, leadership 6, OC3. Infernal Cannon is 24-inch range, so leaves the same as the other Infernal Cannon. Same Hellforged weapons, just he can fly. Same bonuses for picking the gods. Once per battle at the start of the fight phase, this model can use ability. If it does so until the end of the phase, add 3 to attacks to the rest of this model's Hellforged weapons. Alright, so that's not horrible. And then at the end of each time this model selected to fight, select one of the following abilities at the end of the phase. This model Hellforged weapon has that ability. Lethal touch, precision, saves one. Alright, so this guy seems more like he's out on himself killing stuff, whereas the other guy buffs stuff, so he seems like more like back leading your troops. And that's it. That was a long one, but demons definitely have some cool stuff. Looks like you can run a mixed army and do well, or purely dedicated to one of the gods and do some really cool stuff. So if I was a demon player, definitely not horrible. Like, I definitely should be something you should be able to do well with if you know what you're doing. So we'll see if that actually plays out once we see points and stuff, because the rules are solid. But that's it for the demons, and catch you guys next time.